Hi guys, welcome back. Super happy to have you here. I am joining you today from the Kwagyo First Nations territories in North Vancouver Island. Today we're going to do a little bit of a wrist strengthening and mobility workout. We're going to keep it probably on the shorter side because I've got a beautiful swarm of ravenous mosquitoes trying to eat me. But here we go. As always, feel free to throw on your favorite playlist. I'm out in nature recording my videos and I really like to capture the sounds that are around me. I also am on a very tight budget and don't have any fancy editing equipment. So you guys get no music. So please feel free to throw on your favorite music for any one of my videos. And if you enjoy, please consider liking, subscribing, drop me a little loving comment and maybe sharing. So let's start warming up our wrists. We're just gonna do some big circles all the way around. Sitting nice and tall, lengthening through the spine. Good. Draw the belly button in towards the back and switch directions. Those bottom ribs here tend to flare forward when we're sitting this way, so draw those ribs in. Good. Now think you're squeezing that pelvic floor closed, drawing everything up and inwards. So imagine you really have to use a washroom. There's nowhere for you to go. Squeeze everything shut, pull it up and in, and switch again. Good. We're going to open and close our hands as fast as we can. So if you're a pole dancer or maybe an aerialist, silks, hoop, trapeze, etc., doing really good wrist and hand stuff is so important. I learned this the hard way, unfortunately. When I was younger and stronger and more invincible in my 20s, I used to train and never stretch or do any conditioning for this part of my body, and unfortunately gave myself quite a few injuries as a result. Good. Open and close. Now flick, 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 flick away. Flick away all that bad zhuzh. It's Monday. We're starting the week off in a great way. Flick away that bad energy. Good. And grab. Bring in all the happy vibes, all the love, all the abundance. 2025 is going to be your year, baby. I hope so. I hope so. And flick away the bad zhuzh again. Be gone. Be gone. Good. And grab. Good. So we're going to grab our loop band. We're going to place it around our hands. And we're going to actually just go on the floor here. You can do it this way. It'll just make it a little bit more challenging. So you want to have one hand stabilizing, and then the other hand is going to be rotating away and in. So if you see me up this way, away, oh, hang on a sec. Got to bring that a little bit higher. Away and in. Away and in. Away and in. Good. So having it on the floor will just make it slightly easier to keep this anchored hand still, but it's not a problem. Doing it this way just adds a bit of extra resistance, makes it a little bit harder, and that's okay. Other side. Now, if your hands are in the air the way I'm demonstrating, it's very tempting to shrug your shoulders upwards towards your ears. So try really hard to draw them down towards the hips. You might see my left arm is shaking like crazy. That's my injured side. Last one. Good. Coming to the floor here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate both my hands out and I'm just going to hold it here, feeling that little bit of tension accumulating in the outsides of my forearms. Holding it here. See if you can lift and float the fingers off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the fingers down. Now I'm going to walk the heels of the hands further out. And I'm going to bring my fingers in towards each other and just keep a little bit of tension here again. So I walked my hands out a bit, lift and float those fingers off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring them down. Good. Roll it out. Give yourself a little break here. Good. From here, again, anchored hand, working hand. I'm going to place my band so it's like just above that pad in your hand, so along the bottom section of your fingers. And I'm going to try to go forward and back, forward and back. So try to keep your fingers all in alignment with each other. So it's just like some of that foot and ankle strengthening stuff that we've done in some videos together. Feeling that strengthening through the wrist. And while I do this, I'm trying to keep my wrist in straight alignment. So I'm at a bit of a 45-degree angle here just for the video's purpose. But ensure that when you're doing it, you're not like doing something funny with your hand. Keep your wrist nicely aligned with the rest of your arm as you come forward and back. Other side. Forward, forward, forward. Good. I love this beautiful mushroom next to me here, growing out of the tree. Good. Last one. And release. Good. Rolling it out. So from here, let's do some mobility stuff. So we're going to place our hands on the ground and we're just going to rock ourselves as far around nice and slow as possible. Just rotating through our wrists. And switch. Nice. Keeping the heels of the hands nice and flat to the floor. Beautiful. From here, I'm going to put the heels of the hands together. And again, I'm going to come to one side over, trying to keep both heels of the hands flat to the ground. And the other. Again. And again. And from here, slowly drawing a circle all the way around. So also, if maybe you work at a computer all day, doing some wrist and hand stuff is really important. And switch. It's incredible how much chronic pain and recurrent injury we can heal and prevent by doing stuff like this. Beautiful. And release. From here, now we're going to flip our hands over. Same thing. So palms are up. Try to keep that back part of the wrist nice and flat to the ground as I lean over. And I come back the other way. And of course, be gentle with your range of motion. Never force anything. You never want to feel any sharp pains while you're doing this. Yes, stretching can feel kind of intense. Of course, this is normal. But you never want to feel like a sharp pain in your joint. So I'm always going to suggest going a little bit smaller and just taking it easy, going nice and slow. Good. And again, gently painting around through a circle, trying to keep the entire top of the hand flat to the ground. And switch. Good. From here, heels of the hands go to the ground. Now, the further my hands are from my body, the more intense of a stretch this is going to be. So my middle finger is pointing straight back towards my heels. I'm going to keep my elbows straight as I start to sit it back, leaning away. So if you see me from the side view here, I'm here, keeping the heels of the hands flat to the ground. Actually, I'm a little too far. There we go. Keeping the heels of the hands flat to the floor. And then I'm going to add a gentle bend of the elbow, still keeping the heels of the hands as flat to the ground as possible, feeling that stretch deepen. Good. And as always, gentle reminder when we're sitting, we're still drawing that belly button to the spine, still keeping that pelvic floor awake and engaged. Flip the hands over. Again, try to keep like this top part of the wrist as close to the floor as possible. Leaning it back. Good. You want to make it a little bit more intense. You can walk your hands further away from you. Good. Keep drawing that pelvic floor up and inwards. Imagine you really got to use the washroom. Squeezing everything up and in. Beautiful work. Awesome. And release. Roll it out. My favorite stretch next, we're going to make a tight fist with our hands. So this one, the key part of this stretch is to not let your hands open. Okay, the most common mistake I see everybody, or most people, make, is that when we start to straighten out the arms, your hands are going to open and release. You're going to lose everything if you do that. So tight fist, clench, think like, oh, I'm so mad. Tops of the knuckles go together. Keep those fists nicely clenched. Start to straighten the elbows out. Okay, so don't force it. If you can't get your elbows totally straight, you can keep them gently bent. That's fine. Or very bent. That's okay too. You might be very tight through the forearms. That's fine. But don't let your hands open. Okay, tight fist, knuckles together, straighten out the arms. If your arms are totally straight and you have it in you, you can do a gentle rock from side to side. If not, just stay where you are. Keep those fists clenched. Channel the rage. Oh, it's hard to be angry in a place like this. It's so peaceful. Good. And release. Good. Rolling it out. From here, hand like so. Placing my hand across, so I'm just getting like the padding and then parts of my fingers, drawing it back. Elbow is straight. Good. Grabbing the thumb, pulling the thumb back. Nice stretch through the palm of the hand. Grabbing onto the 4 fingers here, pulling those back. Again, nice stretch. And I'm kind of fanning my fingers out just a little bit while I do this, just to get more through the palm of my hand here. Good. Other side. So first I'm starting with that padding right here and my fingers. Pulling it back. Grabbing my wrist, or my thumb, my wrist. Grabbing my thumb, pulling my thumb back, getting a nice stretch through that portion of my palm. Good. Slightly fanning my fingers, grabbing more onto my fingers now, just pulling the fingers back, getting a good stretch through the palm of the hand. And release. And our final stretch of the day, I'm going to make another tight fist, place it in the palm of my hand, try to straighten out my elbow. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my elbow up and down, like that, ever so slightly, okay? Doesn't need to be big, and if you can't do the rotation, don't do it. Just stay right here. Good. Other side, just gonna protect myself from the mosquitoes. Palm here, straighten out the elbow, and if you have it in you, rotate through the arm. Good. And release. Right on. Rolling it out. I would like to thank you all so much for joining me yet again. Hope to see you again very soon. And again, if you're enjoying the videos, please consider liking my channel, subscribing, and maybe sharing it with a couple of people.